Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today we are here for my home race, the team's home race, the British Grand Prix. But first of all, guys, I want to get a couple plugs out of the way. First of all, the previous episode, guys, I'll leave that linked up in the right-hand corner of your screen. Also, I want to plug yesterday's video and one that I really hope you guys go check out. And it was actually me doing a 100% race around Abu Dhabi online with no rules, which means we can cut the track, we can ignore the safety cars, we can ignore the 5 red lights, and it was absolute chaos, guys. If you haven't checked that out, I do recommend you go give it a watch. Let me know if you want to see more content like that on my channel, and yeah, I'll also leave that video linked up in the top right hand corner as well. But today, guys, we are here for my team, and that is what it's all about. We are reaching the halfway stage of the season. Things are looking very good for us. We're leading both championships, and the car is very competitive. But guys, if you got to enjoy the video, drop me a like, subscribe for more daily F1 content, and let's get today's episode underway. Here we are then, once again in the laptop. You can see on screen though, we have rain expected for the race, and it's going to be pretty much the entire race. So that's going to throw our strategy out the window a little bit in terms of, maybe the setup, also how we attack qualifying. You can look on the R&D graph. Mercedes actually brings some upgrades this weekend, and they closed the gap to us at the top of the table. And to be fair, we recently just finished doing durability upgrades, which means we can now go back to performance upgrades. So we'll get on that at the end of the episode, guys, and throw some more performance parts onto the car for future races. We then jump into practice though, and this was actually practice 2 because FP1 was rained out. So it's going to be a tricky session for us because in FP2 the AI turned their engines up, and therefore I wasn't able to go quickest in FP2 on the soft tyres. Therefore we are going to miss out on one of our bonuses from our sponsors, which is to be fastest in a session. So unfortunately we're not going to be able to achieve that here this weekend. Nonetheless, we move into the resource points after practice. You can see on screen over 3,000 points now, to be fair, and both myself and Ricardo are getting a decent amount. Also some small improvements to the acclaim all round, and we're then going to move into qualifying here today at Silverstone. And to be fair, I'm not expecting much because this track is the AI's strongest track on the entire game by far. I think Spa is pretty strong for them as well, but this one is on another level. The AI are so quick around here, so I've got very low expectations. If we even make Q3, that would be an incredible achievement for me. So here we go. Jumping into Q1 then, we're going to see how this goes. This was my best lap of the Q1 session. A pretty decent banker, a little bit scruffy in some areas, but overall a strong lap when it needed to be. And you can see here now making our way through the final chicane and now into the final corner. Across the line we go, and we go P12 and 4/10 off Lando Norris's P10 time. So quite a way off where we need to be. But luckily, still more than enough pace in the car to get through on that lap. And I was waiting to go out again if I needed to, but luckily we didn't have to, so we can kind of avoid that and go and get on our way into Q2. So here we are on our first run in Q2, and the fresh tyres of course for this session once again. So we're going to be going flat out, and this is when the engines start to get turned up, and this is when we're going to see what kind of pace I have, because like I said before, the AI are pretty quick around here. So we do go P8 with a 121.1, which was my best lap of the weekend up until that point, and then we got to shuffle down and push down a P10. So this was my best lap of the weekend, guys. So I'm going to let you enjoy it with some raw engine sound. And there we go, across the line. We improved by 0.2 of a second and into the 1 minute 20s, which for me was insane. I didn't think I was anywhere near a 1 minute 20, and that lap was actually just enough to get into Q3. So I will take that. 0.7 off our teammate, pretty much 8/10, sorry, but still, you know, we're into Q3. That's all that matters. And you can see in the background that the skies are getting really, really dark at the end of Q2, and there was overcast conditions forecast, but at the end of qualifying. And having said that, though, the rain has arrived here and the weather has changed. So you can see in Q3, this is me now. I've just left the pit exit and I'm the second car behind Lando Norris on track, and the rain is already falling here. So this was actually my only lap in Q3. It wasn't my best lap of the weekend, as you'd expect, of course, due to the conditions, but we're going to try and give it a crack anyway. So first of all, turns 1 and 2, flat out. The grip's still pretty decent, to be honest with you. DRS is still enabled. As we go down towards turn 3, 4th gear, pick up the apex. Easy does it, then open up the line for turn 4, try and pick up a late apex here, and then get on the gas nice and early. Use the curb on the outside if you need it to pick up some traction. Make sure you're very greedy on the inside curb there through the left kink onto the Wellington straight. We then brake at the 50-meter board for Brooklands, 5th gear, then down to 4th, pick up the late apex, open up the right-hander of Luffield, and again I try and go for a late apex here, so really try and focus on my exit, using all of the exit curb there on the left-hand side. Through the old pit straight we go, down towards the old turn 1 of Cops, flat out of course. 50-meter board is your reference to turn in, and we just about keep it within track limits, and we now make our way down towards Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. Flat out for the first two, slight little lift there, and then we go down 2 gears for the right-hander before then getting onto the gas out of Chapel and opening the DRS along the hanger straight. And so far, up until this point, that lap was actually pretty good. I was happy with it up until now. But this is when the rain started to affect me a little bit in Sector 3. We run very wide there, missing our apex completely through Stowe. And we now going to go for the heavy brake zone into the Val chicane, 3rd gear through here. I definitely was struggling for a bit of low speed grip, and I had to be careful and be a bit patient picking up the throttle as we run across the line, set at 121.4. So that is pretty much 0.4 off our Q2 time, and it was still enough for 8th place. But having said that, having crossed the line, you know, second out of all the cars, I was hoping for a bit better. But having said that, you know, we didn't quite have the pace, and that's just the way it goes. I'm happy we got to Q3. That for me is a good enough achievement. And yeah, Ricardo P5, Mercedes 1-2, and Lando, who was just ahead of me on the road, he gets P3 in the McLaren. So good job from Lando there. Leclerc only P10 for Ferrari, and then 2 Renaults ahead and behind me. So overall, a decent session, a decent qualifying. We're now going to move into the race, and hopefully we can try and do better on Sunday.
Your teammate beat you today. Was it a setup issue or something else?
No, I think he just done a better job than me. Simple as that, really. I can't really fault Ricardo. It's his win to take, and he can enjoy it.
You won't be starting at the front of the pack. Are you worried?
Of course, you know, there's an element of that, but generally, we'll just make the best out of the bad situation. Simple as that, really.
Did you feel that things went well for you today?
I think so. I think better than I expected. You know, I can't really complain. We got the best out of the car, given the conditions and our pace, to be honest.
What could have gone better?
I think a lot of things, but for some reason I've just always struggled for pace around here. Also the timing, I think the final lap could have been a bit better.
Appreciate your time.
And after qualifying, you can see on screen the rivalry breakdown. This is going to mean that we finalise and wrap things up as we beat Hamilton in the rivalry by 7 points in the end. So overall, relatively comfortable. We then move over to the team acclaim after qualifying. Again, very small gains now, but we are slowly getting to level 21 as a team. But guys, that is going to be it for qualifying here today at Silverstone. And we're now going to move into mine and the team's home race.
Great Britain then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every single year of the Formula One World Championship. And the circuit extends that record further for today's Grand Prix. Silverstone circuit then. It's 3.6 miles long and has a total of 18 corners. And of course, is no stranger to the rain. There won't be any DRS available in these conditions, but the Wellington and Hanger Straights are still good opportunities to tuck into the slipstream and make a pass. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we start by talking about Carlos Sainz? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Albon. Gasly, Martinez, Leclerc, and Daniel Kvyat. Vettel, Stroll, Jack Aitken, and Magnussen. Perez, Russell, Nick de Vries, and Esteban Ocon. They've taken a grid penalty. Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Latifi, and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Well then guys, here we are. It's time for my home race, the team's home race, the British Grand Prix, starting from P8 on the grid. Fourth row, not the best qualifying, but we didn't really have the pace. This is definitely the AI's strongest track on this game by far. So it's going to be a very difficult race, I think. I'm not expecting a hell of a lot. I feel like this is one of those tracks where even if I do my usual race performance, it doesn't often result in good results here for some reason. So I'm not going to go too ballsy. I think, to be fair, if I finish in P8 where I start, I'll be quite happy with that, considering my history with this racetrack. So we first of all look at the race strategy. It looks like it's going to be intermediates all the way through the race here today. And what I've done is I've actually underfueled the car to the lowest possible amount, because that lowest amount of fuel is only 0.6 under. So I think that's the best way to go, to try and be a bit more aggressive, have a bit more pace in the first part of the race, hopefully, and make it work. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, we're going to try and push on and, push forward and try and gain places. But for this race, I'm definitely hoping Ricciardo can pull one out of the bag and deliver for the team here this weekend. With that being said, though, I'm going to try and put on a show for the home fans here today in the pouring rain. So let's jump into it and let's get the race underway for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Right, here we go. Let's see what kind of start we get. I'm going to try and get the revs a little bit lower than usual. Oh, good reaction to the 5 lights there. Very good reaction time. Having said that, our start was actually pretty good, but everyone else getting away pretty well. Both Ferraris just sail around the outside there and get me, so we're down to P10, unfortunately. I'll be able to get Vettel back here, hopefully into turn 3, but both Ferraris there getting off to a flying start, and fair play to them. Looks like most cars single file, except for Ricciardo up ahead, who's, I believe, too wide and actually getting past one of the Red Bulls as we get a big tank snapper there on the exit of that corner. I've tweaked the setup in practice for this race, so hopefully we should be semi-competitive, hopefully. I've got the wing a little bit lower than what I was going to go for. I'll see how the car feels. If it feels like rubbish, we'll adjust the wing in the pit stops. But let's see. Yep. Don't worry, Jeff, I'll get onto that soon. For now, we're just going to focus on the race first. So we've lost the place, down to P9, which is not ideal. Interesting to see how this race pans out, because there's not going to be any DRS here today, so there may not be those classic DRS trains that you get around here, but I'm still fully expecting the AI to be very quick and hard to beat in these conditions. So I needed that start to be good for us, which wasn't the case, so I feel like we might be on the back foot already. But let's see if I can prove myself wrong, and hopefully we've got some form of race pace around here in the wet conditions. The AI just have a ridiculous amount of downforce. I don't know where they're getting it from, but this is what I'm saying. The AI are just so fast around here. Even in the wet, they just have so much downforce through the S's and through the fast corners. It's just unbelievable. I can't match it. I don't know where they're finding it from. In theory, they should be running a dry setup, and that isn't the case. Meanwhile, Ricciardo's got himself up to 3rd place, overtaking Lando Norris, so he can now go chase after the Mercedes cars, but we're still sat here struggling, to be honest. Whew, getting sideways there. Personal best, slowly improving my pace, but I'm a long way off the pace, to be honest. I'm trying to hang on to Leclerc here. Of course, no DRS.
Okay, we're low on fuel. Try shifting up the gears a little sooner. This should help us save some fuel.
I think the only car that I've got more pace than of the ones in front of me is probably Lando Norris, who's currently P4. I know I'm quicker than him, but after him, I think we're struggling, to be honest. I think we're only hanging on to the cars in front because they're being held up by Lando. Simple as that, really. I don't really have the pace at the minute. I'm just struggling all round. I feel like we're starting to establish a bit of a rhythm, so if you look behind, there's not as much of a train behind us now, but I just don't have the rhythm in the fast corners. I can't match the AI's flawless just grip and handling and traction through the fast corners, so I'm really struggling to hold on here. To be honest, the only reason I'm hanging on to this train of cars in front is because Lando's at the front of it, and he's probably the only car that I've maybe got more pace than compared to the guys ahead, so literally that's the only reason why, but I am struggling big time already here. I've requested a wing adjustment, so a bit more front wing, see if that can help me through the fast corners. It's not going to improve the stability, so I'm still going to have issues, but I'm just hoping I've got a bit more of a front end, because I need to find something for the fast corners because I just can't get close to Leclerc at all. AI picking up their pace, 32.7, new fastest laps being set by the Mercedes. I can feel it because the cars ahead are pulling away. I mean, look at that, we're a second and a half off the pace of the Mercedes, and I am flat out at the minute. I've got hardly nothing left in the tank in terms of my pace. This is all I've got. I think the AI are actually even quicker in the wet than they are in the dry around here, which is quite depressing. I'm on an absolute flyer here, and I'm still falling back. This is a great lap for me. I've actually got a 1 second gap now to Vettel, so a much better lap from me there, but that was perfect in terms of the lap so far. I've never hit such a good lap in this race yet. Every single corner was perfect. Still just trying to hang on to these guys. There's no action. Lando's doing a good job of holding the Red Bulls up as well, so if there was a couple of overtakes or battles in front, that would help us really close up and potentially even get a chance to pass some of these guys, but until that happens, we're just stuck here in this train. Last couple laps, the pace has been good. I've tried my absolute hardest, and we're just starting to get a gap now to Sebastian Vettel. Not that there's any DRS anyway, but it just helps visually to have a 1 second gap. It just means Vettel's not getting any slipstream whatsoever. And there's a bit of a breakaway happening here, so the Red Bulls are kind of splitting apart slightly. I'm just trying to hang in there really and stay close to Leclerc as much as I can, using a lot of ERS on the straights. The car is super efficient now when it comes to ERS, so I can use it a lot. Another personal best. Still about a second off the fastest lap time from the Mercedes, but by getting faster slowly, the gap to Vettel also slowly going up. I'm actually getting a bit closer to Leclerc now. Half a second is the gap, which is the closest I've been in a little while, but we're still a long way away from making any kind of move. One mistake like that and suddenly we've thrown away all of our hard work. Damn it. Yeah, it looks like this rain is going to be the whole race, so we've just got to try and do our best considering the conditions. This pit stop could be key in terms of timing. Undercut or overcut. It's going to be very interesting. I'll have a look at my tyre wear and study my options and see what the best thing is in a minute.
Some information on Gasly. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Okay, that's good news for us. Gasly just ahead of Charles Leclerc. That's going to help us out a lot. Also, I've been looking at my tyre wear. There's an outside chance I could stretch these tyres to the end. Maybe. I'm going to have to do some tyre saving, but it could happen. And go for the no-stop strategy. That might be my way out of here because it's a very, very long pit lane, very slow pit lane. So I feel like that could be my get out of jail free card. Let's see. First of all, Leclerc's going to have to get past Gasly here. I've had a shocker of a middle sector. Vettel's in the back. Come on.
Fuel mix. We may not finish on the current settings.
I'm not too bothered, Jeff. All right. Here we go then. Leclerc, Gasly side by side. Are they going to pit? No, they both stay out. Interesting. Sebastian Vettel pits though. Let's see if we can get past Pierre Gasly here nice and quickly. I don't really want to lose Leclerc. I want to kind of stick with him if I can. Let's see what happens through turn one. Take it easy. I've got no confidence through here compared to the AI who just throw the car in. Can we get past Pierre here? No, not quite. Not really close enough. Nice bit of traction out there. Alright, this should be it. This should do the trick. Here we go. To the left-hand side, down the inside, into Brooklands on Pierre Gasly. Easy move. And we are through. So, here's the plan. I'm going to try and go to the end on these tyres. I'm going to take a big, big gamble. We're going to go for the no-stopper. I'm not going to win the race. I probably won't even get a podium. I think Hamilton, Bottas and Ricciardo will pass me. But if I can get P4 and get ahead of Lando, who's the guy I'm looking at, because he was holding everyone up, that is possible. So I've got to try and manage my left rear. That's going to be the tyre I need to watch out for. But if I can pull this off, then today will be a big day for us. There we go then. All the remaining cars going to the pit lane. In hindsight, I wish I'd started the race with a bit more front wing, but that's okay. So in theory now, we should take the race lead as everyone is pitting. So let's see how this goes. We're going to roll the dice. We're going to be a lot slower, of course, but I'm hoping the pit lane is slow enough that Lando is not that fast to cash him back up for P4, and that's what I'm kind of banking on. If I can hold on to a podium, that'd be insane. But really, I'm being realistic. I think P4 is going to be where we finish. Okay, 33.7 from us. So again, we're only a 10th off our personal best, so we're not a million miles away. Let's see what Lewis does on fresh inters. Interesting. Not actually a fastest lap, which is exactly what I expected, so that's interesting. Obviously, he's still about a second lap quicker than me, so let's see. Verstappen's now P4. He's managed to undercut Lando and sets a new fastest lap, so 32.4, so that's 1.3 quicker than me. So Verstappen now is going to be the new target, I feel like. He's undercut Lando Norris, so he could be one to watch out for. Let's see if I can surprise myself and keep onto these tyres. 10 laps to go. There it is, 31.9, 31.8 from the Mercedes. 2 seconds a lap quicker, that's more like it. That's the kind of pace I expected from them. Okay, new personal best. Still got a bit of pace in these. I don't really want to look at my tyre wear just in case, as Bottas sets yet another fastest lap. I feel like we're going to be quite high already, but I don't want to look at it. I don't want to get too focused on it. Just want to drive and try and see if I can maintain the pace. Oh, getting a bit sideways again there, but another personal best. Only just, pretty much matching our previous lap, but again, the car's getting lighter now. The fuel's starting to burn off, so we'll become more competitive. The yellow warning light has come on just above the lean mixture, which is for the tyre wear, so that's our first warning about our tyres starting to go in Hamilton now. Giving me the hurry up. He's starting to get really close now. Let's see if we can defend from Lewis a little bit here. Back him into the pack, into Bottas, and maybe even Ricciardo. Give Ricciardo a chance to get into the race. No DRS, of course, so look at this. We're actually pulling away. Our straight line speed is insane, so in hindsight, that bit of extra wing could have definitely helped us out at the start of the race. But here we go, then we're back in Lewis into Bottas. This is very important. To be fair, looking at the time, Verstappen's nowhere near quick enough, so we are definitely going to finish in the top 4 this race. So that's great news, but we've got to finish as well, which is going to be an issue in terms of tyre wear. Let's have a look at the tyres real quick. 63%. Whew, that is going to be close. I'm going to push this to about 80-85%, so I'm going to be relying on a bit of luck from the gods here. So when it hits 80%, that's when you're at risk of puncture. So 80 to 85%, which is what I'm estimating to be at the end of the race. I need the tyres to hang on for that last part, so we're going to see if that works out or not for us. Let's just keep on staying ahead of Lewis though. I'm getting good exits when I need to. I've got loads of ERS to use. Literally, I'm using the ERS every single straight and it's not being used up because the car is so efficient, so I can just deploy it whenever I like. Oh, here comes Lewis. Caught me napping, but luckily this is one of the few corners I'm actually quite good at. This chicane, I'm very, very quick, so I'm able to recover and get ahead. We're still hanging in there. This is good for us. Fuel now back on target as well. Oh, getting loose. I think there's a yellow flag. Yes.
Some information on Giovinazzi. They're retiring from the race.
I kind of don't want a safety car or anything really. I'm quite happy where I am. If it's a VSC, maybe I'll take a cheap pit stop, but just to make sure we get to the end on these, I know, on a fresh set of tyres.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Tyre wear 68%. I'll tell you what, I'm getting a bit worried here if we make it or not.
Caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Hamilton's pushing. He's running high engine mode here. But like I said, oh no, that's a mistake. Just got loose. I've let both silver arrows go. We're going to let Ricciardo go as well. May as well not cost him any time. Big error there. I just lost the back end. We'll let Ricciardo get on with it. I don't want to waste his time. We've got 15 seconds and 5 laps to go. So I'm going to cruise now and see if I can nurse this left rear. And if we can, we'll bring home a fabulous P4, which is still a great result for us. I'm annoyed we let the Mercedes go because I actually thought we had enough pace on the straight to maybe stay in front, but that mistake is the risk you take by staying out on these tyres so long. So yeah, we're just going to cruise here and see if we can keep these tyres alive. Stay off a couple of curbs maybe as well.
Be careful. The tyres have deteriorated significantly at this point.
Yeah, I'm well aware, Jeff. Oh. Yeah, struggling now. Got to be careful. Oh, okay, Ricciardo, new fastest lap. Looks like Daniel fancies his chances. He's putting some pressure on Bottas, to be fair, so I've done my bit. I've backed Mercedes into Daniel Ricciardo, so let's see if we get any benefits from that as a team. I don't think we're going to make it, guys. 77% left rear. We're going to have to go for some uber tyre management, but this ain't going to be good for us. I've got to be super, super smooth. 3 laps to go. Oh my goodness me, this is going to go down to the wire. I've still got a healthy gap to Verstappen, so I can afford to give away a bit of time. But I'm going to have to be very gentle here on traction. Okay, we're now in the danger zone, 80%. This was actually a pretty good lap. Took it very smooth. We've given up a lot of time to Max. Only 3% of that lap, so in theory, We should be close to 86% by the end, so we are taking a massive gamble here. Left front is also going to be a concern. Just got to be very, very careful. Try and stay off curbs, have minimal sliding on the car. And we should be okay. Final 2 laps of the race. I'm driving so slow here. I'm literally crawling through the S's. My DRS is going to front as well for good measure. Just trying to crawl here and take it very easy. I've just got my eye on those tyre wear gauges all the time. Going on to the last lap, we're going to have 4.5 seconds on max, which is more than enough. I've just got to drive slow and coast it. Front left should be okay. It's the rear left now that I'm not happy about. That could go at any point now. We are in the danger zone here. Last lap of the race. Oh my god, this is going to be painful. I've got to coast through here. I've got to coast. I can push the left-handers a bit where the right-hand tyres are getting used, but here comes Max. He's 7/10 behind. This is going to be so close. Tyres, please hold on. I'm begging you, please hold on for a few more corners. Come on. Easy does it through here. Bottas takes away the fastest lap. I'm having to push a little bit now. I don't want to get caught out. Front left is now in the danger zone. Tyres, hold on. Yes. Final corner. Slow and steady. Wins the race. Yes. Come on. Yes.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the British Grand Prix. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Guys, I can't believe it. We have brought home a P4 that feels like a race win. Absolutely insane. We go for the zero-stop strategy, no pit stops here today, and we score 12 well-deserved championship points. Ricciardo gets third, Hamilton picks up the win, Bottas second, and in the end, Ocon got the fastest lap in P12, so none of us take the fastest lap, which is great news for us in terms of the Constructors' battle. In terms of the race, had I gone for the pit stop, I probably would have finished in P8, so you know what, it was well worth the risk and it paid off, so I'm really happy. We then look at the standings after that race. We keep on leading the championship. We are still 51 points clear of Hamilton, and that is after going through the worst race for us. You know, the AI, this is definitely their strongest circuit. Ricciardo is still P4, Bottas P3, and those battles are still very close. We then look at the Constructors, and we are still 40 points clear of Mercedes heading to the next race, guys, at Hungary. So, guys, if you enjoyed the race, then slap a like, because that strategy was insane, and we are now going to move into the laptop.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
I'm not sure. I think, you know, we've got rivals all across the field. But at the minute, I think, you know, we're battling Lewis. I think he's probably the strongest yardstick.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
We did. I think down to strategy, that was what it was all about. I was happy, to be fair. The car actually felt great. You know, we just lacked pace all round, but the car felt good. And I was quite happy with that, to be honest.
How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today?
I think, in general, it didn't change much. I think most drivers still had a strong race, so we just had to do our own thing, really.
A podium finish for your teammate. Will you be celebrating with them tonight?
Maybe. You know, we've done a lot of work. I think Daniel, of course, deserves it. He's been in a great run of form. He did EU DNF in the last race, which was a shame. So it's good to see the improvement in terms of reliability heading into this race. That's great.
Great. Well, that's everything.
And after that race, you can see the Team Acclaim, not really any benefit for us, you know, unfortunately. We're getting to that point now where there's no real gains being made. Ricardo, though, does gain quite a bit, and he's gradually closing in on that level 17. We don't hit our Sudo sponsor target, as I wasn't able to go quickest in practice, unfortunately. We then look at the cash payout, no deductions, which is great, so we will get a full bonus on that front, as we're now just shy of $20 million here in terms of cash flow. Once again, here we are on the laptop. The next race is in 10 days time, so we do have a lot of activities to do. So let's start assigning a few and making a few things happen. So first of all, GeForce training will go straight on there for Daniel to get used to. We're then going to go for, I'm thinking, another marketing strategy conference to improve Team Acclaim. And then we've got a space for 2 more 3-day activities. So we'll probably go for chassis team building and then aero department focus, so we'll kind of spread it all out a little bit. We then move over to the R&D tab, and of course we've done most of our durability work now, so we can go back to performance upgrades. And with that in mind, I'm going to probably purchase a ultimate aerodynamic upgrade here for the drag reduction, so we're going to get that on the car, and fingers crossed that should arrive before the Belgian Grand Prix. We've then got 1,500 points left over, so we are going to go for a minor fuel efficiency upgrade on the engine that will arrive also just before the Belgian Grand Prix. So for the next race, the car will remain unchanged, but hopefully after that, for the second half or the final part of the season, you could say we should have a better car. So yeah, overall, guys, things are looking pretty good. Got quite a few things to get through, so let's skip ahead on the laptop and let's see if all of these activities take place. And there we go then, we are locked in and ready to go, guys, for the next race at the Hungaroring, round 13 of the season. And yeah, things are looking very, very good, and I can't wait to go again for another race because we've got the car at the minute, so I want to make sure we maximize it and we bounce back after this race here at Britain. So guys, if you enjoyed today's video and that crazy strategy, then drop a like on the video. Let's try and see if we can smash 1,000 likes here today. Also subscribe for more content like this on the channel, guys, and also notifications turned on to not miss out on those videos when they do go live. And finally, check out the 2 videos on your screen right now if you haven't seen them. But guys, that's it from me here today, and I'll see you all next time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. But until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.